Perfect. 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 Perfect.
What's the motherfucking deal? Fucking light keep fucking shining. Welcome to Soft Sports. If you're not familiar with Soft Sports at Houston, Texas. Homer Network, we're talking all sports, but only Houston. And today, we are talking about this team that they call a professional NFL team in the city of Houston. The Houston, what they call them, the Houston Lexans. They're taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Pardon me, this fucking light is pissing me off, but whatever. We'll deal with that shit later. But it's been a minute since we've been deep in it, and we got quite a few members of the round joining the conversation today. So I know y'all in the chat should be happy to see that. Make sure y'all hit that thumbs up, like button, whatever the fuck it's called. And let's get it. Let's have a good one. Who all we got joining in the conversation today?
Been a minute. Glad y'all get to see us. I'm gonna give y'all a premier sauce today.
Already.
What's good? What's good? It's your boy Spitz back in the building.
throw this ingredient himself.
It don't matter us in the building. It don't matter us.
The wise man in the building already. Hey, look at these two polite
Man,
gentlemen.
you know, it's the 10 man. It's the 10 man. I brought back the positivity so we get back on this winning that we started at the beginning of the season. And I'm here to give you another win today, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
It's your boy Ray Rance, aka the Pigskin Prophet. Man, let's get it on. I'm ready for the Tank Bowl. This is what today is. It's the Tank Bowl, baby.
Absolutely.
This is either gonna fuck up someone's season next year or make it better. Let's figure it out. Let's let this shit go.
A battle of fucking 211 teams. This should be exciting. Let's see what we got in the chat. Join us real quick. I see Houston Texans talk. Frank in H-Town. Shout out to Frank in H-Town. T-Real, what's the motherfucking deal? Tony Snow, Charles Montgomery, Texan boy, Buck McCaffrey, Mitch, all the way in Kakalaki, King Jaja, Rio, a wild Rio has appeared, Dead Shred, Worthy Texas Videos, and Herb Gotti, J Boogie, Trinity Gardens in the building already. So like I said, man, it's a lot to talk about, it's a lot to talk about. I don't know if it's good talk, but it's plenty to talk about. So, really let's jump on the news of what's been going on with these two teams late before we really get into the details. The Jaguar, like we as Texans fans have been feeling like, oh man, it can't get more dysfunctional than the Texans. We complain about the issues we've had, and I mean this has been going on for years since the, Billy O regime to this point now. You got the Band-Aid coaching staff and all that. But imagine being a Jags fan. You're getting that number one QB. You're getting Urban Meyer, a guy who's had, success for the most part wherever he's been, albeit not in the NFL. And then all the dysfunction that came along with him. You hear about motherfuckers getting kicked on and picked on, coaches getting embarrassed. I mean, who has it worse? I'm going to start off at the top. We'll start off with Wink and then we'll work our way around. Who has it worse, man, as far as an institutional situation when it comes to these organizations? The Houston Texans or the Jacksonville Jaguars?
I think I have to lean a little bit slightly towards the Jags because they've been doing this for far, we've had our dysfunction this whole time, but the thing was we had quite some years, of success. We had a top quarterback, top receivers. We were able to put it together a little bit more for longer periods of time than the Jags. But make no mistakes, in today's time, I could almost say we're just as dysfunctional. We're not signing players, we're not keeping players, but we have that commonality amongst the teams. It's not really much. I mean, you can just pick one, just throw on a different jersey. I mean, they're both pretty much the same team as it stands right now. They have some talent on both sides of the football, but it's thinning out. Guys don't want to play for these specific teams, and these teams really aren't going anywhere over the next maybe 2 to 3 years as it stands right now until they decide to make these changes that to make their organization more successful. But that's the way I feel about it. They pretty much neck and neck, but I can lean towards the Jags ever so slightly.
All right. Spitz, your thoughts, man. If you're talking about it as an institution, I mean, top to bottom, which team, unfortunately both in the AFC South, which team is more dysfunctional in your opinion?
The Jazz gonna Jag. The damn Jazz gonna Jag. Just the thing. And then especially when you talk about success, yes, the Texans have been successful for the past couple of years up into recent memory, but we've had a stretch outside of the Colts in our division, probably at the longest stretch of successness between since the middle of the Kubiak era to even know how we feel about Bill O'Brien, the way the team is playing, the way the team has looked. Remember, Bill O'Brien only had one losing season. That was the year that Deshaun got hurt in 2017. So if you put all that into perspective, yes, Jacksonville's way more dysfunctional. But if you go back to the beginning, remember Jacksonville made 2 AFC Championship games in the 90s, not to mention make one in 17. It's something the Texans have ever yet to reach. The thing is, Jacksonville is trying to win. They just make the wrong decisions. They make the wrong decision in coaching hires, and they constantly try to draft the first round quarterback all the time. That's how you get Byron Leftwich, a Blake Bortles, and a Blaine Gabbert, and now Trevor Lawrence. They just constantly continue to make the wrong decisions. Houston's standpoint is that we don't do enough.
Yeah.
Like we look outside of the Rick Smith era, we don't do enough. We don't go after nobody. Yeah, we drafted Deshaun Watson, but who else? We don't go after big name free agents unless they old and past their prime. And then our biggest dysfunction is that we allow somebody who doesn't know anything about football to continually run amok around the organization, and yet we don't get rid of them. But yet Jacksonville, they have superstar defense. They got rid of those players, but they end up getting rid of the person who got rid of them, Tom Coughlin. We got rid of Hopkins, alienated Deshaun, got rid of JJ, and all these other guys. The guy who got rid of them is still in the building. That's the difference. It's two different types of dysfunction. It's basically mirror images of each other just from different perspectives. One is dysfunction on the field, the other one is dysfunction in the front office.
Okay. 10 man. Your thoughts, man. Top to bottom, who is more dysfunctional, Houston Texans or the Jacksonville Jaguars?
I mean, overall, you're going to give it to the Jags because the Jags have been dysfunctional since the early 2000s. I mean, the restructuring and getting the new divisions and all that shit, and us coming into the league. They have arguably been one of the worst teams continuously. Even you can almost have them challenge the Browns as far as how dysfunctional they've been. They're not a real well-run organization. Their ownership has already changed hands at least once. You got Shad Khan over there firing Urban Meyer. I mean, like everybody said and everybody's touched on, it's been a media crap storm. You look around and you just look at a team that doesn't really even have a direction. At least we have our Patriot way mindset over here. We got, Jack Easterby and Nick Casario. They're trying to do their best to do the Walmart brand of the Patriots. And it's horrible in its own right. But, I mean, you can't compare apples and oranges like this. I mean, the Jags are just a totally different brand of dysfunction.
Okay. Wise man. It don't matters. Your thoughts, man.
Don't
Who's
matter.
worse? Texans or Jags?
It really don't matter. I gotta respectfully disagree with Spitz, Tenny, and Wink. I think the Texans are worse. I think the Texans are worse. And let me break it down to you. When we look at the Jacksonville Jaguars, yeah, they had a head coach in Urban Meyer that they fired within less than a season. But at least they got building pieces, okay? They got Josh Allen on defense, a young stud, probably can be defensive player of the year, maybe in the next 5 years. They got Trevor Lawrence. They got ETN coming back next year. They got DJ Chalk. They got a whole bunch of receivers. Don't even get me started on that. And then when you also look at the defensive side of the ball, they also have Shaquem Griffin at corner. So when you look at that compared to the Texans, who do we have to build on? We got Davis Mims. All of our running backs going to be going next year. Who we got at receiver? Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks probably going to be traded. We got Tunsil's. He don't want to be his. We got Howard's. We move him to the tackles. We move him to the guys. We don't know what he's doing. He's supposed to be a first-round pick. On the defensive side of the ball, we do got Jonathan Grenard. And Justin Reed is a free agent. So if you look at the Jacksonville side of things, as long as they get the right head coach in there, as long as they get the right general manager in there, I think they're in a better position to succeed rather than the Texans, to be honest. The Texans, let me not get started on these sorry bastards. Let me just say, we lost DeAndre Hopkins. We lost Dwayne Brown. We lost Will Fullers, even though he don't matter us. We lost Deshaun, and we don't even know if we're gonna get anything back for Deshaun Watson. This is a top 5 quarterback in the league with potential in his prime, and we don't know if we're gonna get anything back for him. We passed up offers from the Eagles. We passed up offers from the Dolphins. So at the end of the day, I think Jacksonville is in a better position to succeed rather than the Texans.
Okay. Let's start the Pigskin and Prophet himself, man. Houston Texans, Jacksonville Jaguars. Who is in a more dysfunctional situation?
I'm going to be the minority. I'm going with what Wise said. there is difference between trying and being historically bad and being the worst ran franchise in sports. It's that simple. There's a lot of things Jacksonville has done in their history. I mean, we've gone over most of them. There's a lot of things we've done in our history. We know what the history is, but as of right now, as of this moment, this is the worst ran franchise in sports entertainment. It's not even close.
Yeah.
I hate saying that. I would like him to be better, but there's no hope. Someone please explain to me where the hope is for this team versus what Jacksonville is. That's all. It's that simple. You don't got to go any further than that.
Yeah. I think, and I can agree.
Did you just drop a rock reference?
Sports entertainment. We're definitely not the most electrifying, but I can agree. Like I say, with everybody on both sides, I think historically, you look at it, I think it has been the Jags. But I think if you're in a point like right now when trying to move forward, you can't do anything about the past. I think the Texans are in a worse situation because, like you said, the hope there is no hope. You have no idea what the Texans are going to do because they've just shown us, the most logical thing is sitting there on the table, and they go the complete opposite direction. They'll go do something nobody expected, and then think that they're the smartest guys in the room or whatever. But like you said, the Jags have made several attempts. Sometimes those things just fail, right? I mean, sometimes you can just have a series of unfortunate circumstances. And then I think overall, like I said, from top to bottom, the thing we've been saying around here, leadership, I'd rather have Khan than Cal any day of the week because it at least feels like Khan is trying to win. It feels like he's willing to make the moves that make sense. Cal looks like he wants to go fucking play Madden 11 or some shit and, not even be at the fucking game. So I would definitely agree. I can see both sides of that. But like I said, but real quick, just a quick note looking at this. Would you be willing to trade the dysfunction of the Jags? Or would you be willing to trade, as a Texans fan, would you be willing to trade places with the Jags to have had, I guess you could say, more postseason success as a la getting to an AFC championship, at least having a chance to try to go for a Super Bowl? Would you be willing to trade positions with the Jags? I'll just throw that out there for whoever wants it.
Well, an AFC championship is a hard thing to accomplish, and it really puts you in a situation where you're the top two team in any conference.
Mm-hmm.
And a whole lot, when you really can look at the years that you did, because when you look at that 17 season and the Jags, because we knew they were coming because that team was just stacked. They had made a lot of off-season moves. They had drafted Fournette. They had a lot of things going for them. Bortles actually played very well that year. He even played well in the playoff game against the Patriots. If the guy stems out, they make a couple of plays. Hey, that game could be very well. It could very well be different, and who knows what that championship that year could look like. But I can agree with Wise and what Ray had to say. And if we're speaking in context, the dysfunctionality of the Texans has really been highlighted over the O'Brien era more so than any other era that we've had run by the Texans. This man, and the fact that it's gotten even worse now that he's gone because Cal is not in the position to make decisions to get Jack Easterby and other guys up out of the organization. That spells a different problem that no one across the league can really encounter because let's just put it in perspective. We have a chaplain running the organization. That's not good. And the drafting has just it hasn't been good since 2017. We've had some picks here and there. But when we're speaking of where this team should be going, the type of depth that it should be filling out, I can more so agree now with what Ray and Wise are saying because we were so stacked. Now we're so depleted on both sides of the ball that it really, it's going to take 2 to 3 years. It's going to take tanking the rest of the season. It's going to take a lot of things. It's going to take, at this point, at least trying to get 2 firsts for Deshaun. And that's a damn shame when you consider that we have to settle for 2 firsts for a top 5 quarterback. That's almost unheard of. And anybody is going to be willing to pay the price of admission, especially if he's absolved of these charges. But that's my take on it.
Okay, see that's the thing though. Like when it comes to the Deshaun trade, his compensation more so depends on him because he has off the field issues. But the thing I say, because I could agree with y'all, but this is where I'm at. This is why I said it's dysfunction on 2 different levels, on 2 different sides. I feel the Jags dysfunction is just they, like you said, made bad decisions. They went after, they drafted Blake Bortles, wasn't a good pick. They drafted Blaine Gabbert, wasn't a good pick. Y'all been talking about Trevor Lawrence. Y'all know how I feel about Trevor Lawrence. Hot brother. I don't think it's gonna work. I know he threw 4 picks last week. I just don't think it's gonna work. He don't seem like the second coming of Andrew Luck and John Elway to me personally. But the Texans' dysfunction is the front office. Even we get all them plethora of picks. Do you really trust these guys to make the right decisions? And now, because Jacksonville made what they felt was the best decision, but they weren't eliminating things. See, when it comes to Texas, we eliminate certain players. We eliminate people who have some type of sketchy background, or they went to this school or that school. Now with this whole Deshaun Watson and David Montgomery situation, they're going to eliminate anybody that's represented by David Montgomery. That's the reason why Charles Minnie was not a Houston Texan and why he's in San Francisco right now, because he's a David Montgomery client. So they're going to eliminate those people out. So you're going to the draft with one hand tied behind your back. I don't care if you have all 32 picks in the first round. If you're only going to pick a specific type of player, it's not going to succeed. That's why they have the dysfunction in the front office. Jacksonville's dysfunction is just they just made the wrong decisions. They were trying to win. They tried to swing for the fence to get quarterbacks. They just made the wrong decisions. So as a Texan fan, I would rather be a fan of the Texans, but I would much rather have their front office because I think their front office is trying to legitimately win when ours, let's be honest, we just trying to fill the congregation. Let's be real.
You know, really, too, this is the most dysfunctional the Texans have ever been. And when you look at Charlie Casserly, you look what Dom Capers tried to do, they had a direction. They were going in the direction they thought that they were going to have success. And they just made bad picks. They made bad decisions. They had bad game plans. I mean, things just didn't work out for them. They went left when they should have went right, kind of situations. Then you get Rick Smith and you get Gary Kubiak in here, and you start getting a direction. You start getting the team heading towards a mindset to win, a mindset to start putting together wins. And then you have some stumbles, you make the wrong decisions, and then you start to win. I think the most boneheaded decision they ever made was skipping on Peyton. I mean, but then you look at the success they had, and then you saw how that fall off, and then you saw ownership make a change immediately. I think a lot of people just got to really take a step back. We're only feeling dysfunctional right now because this is the worst it's been. This is the most dysfunctional it's ever been as far as being a Texans fan or following this organization. The Jacksonville Jaguars, on the other hand, they started off hot back in the 90s. They had what's his name, Brunel? Yeah, there you go. And they were going to these postseason successes. I wouldn't trade for their success because they have been so volatile as a team. I mean, we're talking about a team that went to an AFC championship a couple of years ago. Was it in 2017? And they fell off. I mean, how are you so dysfunctional as an organization that you have an AFC championship caliber team that falls off the next year and it just steadily stays going down?
The Lexans.
I was about to say 24 nothing.
After that Chiefs. It's the same thing. 2 months later, get rid of your best Hall of Fame receivers.
But that's what I'm saying. This is that time right now. We're in the unprecedented time. We've never been this bad. We've never been this dysfunctional.
I mean, we're talking. Think about this. 2 years ago, do you think we'd be having this conversation, comparing the Texans to the Jags?
No, not my wild.
That's how bad this is. That's how bad this is. That's horrible, man.
I want to call that out because actually everything that we've said, every critique that we had of Bill O'Brien, I don't think we could have said what Jack Easterby's role would have been in all of this, because even when we heard his name, I think we were live streaming when we talked about him. I mean, He was just an unsuspecting just name that came in out of nowhere from the Patriots, and we're like, oh, another Patriots guy. Oh, we need a character guy when we've had a team full of good character guys. I think I think everything that we've seen football wise and the way this team has been moved, we saw this. We saw this coming. Now, whether or not we could pinpoint and say that this was exactly what was going to happen, we knew dysfunctionality was entering the room. We knew that this team was being misled and misrun for a long time prior to all of this shit being hashed out.
Right.
I
And
mean,
it's like comparing. It's like I agree with what Spitz said. It's two types of dysfunction. Unfortunately, it's realistically it's just two different types of dysfunction. And I'm going to use Spitz terms, just so you know, Spitz. I'm going to use your term. It's comparing hot garbage to hot butter garbage.
Exactly.
That's where we're at. That's
Exactly.
This is where we're at. Straight up. I'm just saying. I mean,
but is the butter worse? Because, I mean, doesn't butter make
it's gotta
everything
be
better?
because it's greasy. You can't do nothing with it.
No,
It's hard to get
because
off.
it's messy. It's messy and it's sloppy and it stinks.
But I'm
'cause
just
it's
saying,
butter.
like, so you
That's
was at
why
you was at the movies last night. Did you not get any butter on your popcorn?
That's a different story. That's a whole different kind of butter.
It's better butter.
You can't compare it to.
Better butter.
Can't
All right,
compare.
I'll take the better.
Better hot butter.
Real
No,
quick
quick
though,
to-
Rio got a thing for Spitz. A wild Rio has appeared. He says, "Please tell Spitz that John Elway had a horrible rookie year as a
Oh,
QB."
here we go.
Oh my
Appreciate
God.
it.
Here we go.
Super sauce, super chat love.
Here we go. Hey,
John
Spitz,
Elway-
I got it. Spitz, I got it. Don't say nothing. I got it for you. You ready? Rio, we are all aware that rookie quarterbacks, even Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers, things like that, most of them don't have a great first year. We can stipulate to that. But thank you for your comment and your donation.
Oh, I would like to also point out, Rio, you're mentioning John Elway. You might mention Peyton Manning. You might mention a few other guys, but you can name them all on one hand. It's been over 3 decades since John Elway entered the league.
Yep.
My thing is that John Elway has the highest grade coming into a draft. He has the highest grade of any player, not just quarterback, the highest grade of any player entering a draft. Of all time is John Elway. Number 2 is Andrew Luck, and number 3 is Trevor Lawrence. I don't see you grading him higher than he's the 3rd highest graded player entering a draft ever. I don't see that.
That's ridiculous. But to
Exactly, I don't see it.
But to Teddy's point, what Teddy was going at, because he's right. When we pretty much, the projections were laid out a couple of years ago. The projection in the stream, we hit on so many things. Like, as far as we talked about Deshaun Watson being gone before that was ever even truly a thought. We talked about a lot of these guys being gone, but like even when we're talking about resignings, Clowney, we knew he wasn't going to be here. We knew DJ Reed would be here. We knew this team. If you're paying attention to the Texans, this is a team that is so easily predicted. But or is it? Or is it just us? Because I don't really see anyone else. I think it's us. Because I think we look at this from a different lens than anyone else who actually talks this team, and they don't speak on the dysfunction as far as how catastrophic it has become. Because even though we knew it was going to get bad and it's only going to get worse, because it's only going to get worse before it ever gets better. But why is it that as a collective, we are able to see and call these things out far before they ever happen? And others do not.
Because we're not real fans.
Yeah, I can explain it to you.
Exactly.
And then
we're negative. That's why.
But here's the thing: the difference between us is that yes, that emotion is there, the passion is there, just like anybody else. But I think that we have our emotions gauged in reality. You got people who see something but want something to happen, and then you have people who look at it as we see something. Of course, we also want something to happen, but we know what's going to happen. Because if you're paying attention, human nature is human nature. But I kind of want to segue and get into the game. And shout out to Houston Texans Talk, a.k.a. Asman, said, let's talk about how we're about to lose Lovie Smith, which might be the lone highlight that we do have. Because even with the trash he's had, Lovie's actually put out I don't want to say relatively decent. I think the defense looks a lot worse because of how piss poor the offense has been. Because we've seen several games where the defense is looking stellar, and then it gets to the point where offense cannot sustain the drive, and then you're out of there. Now, I'm going to bring up a couple of things here first. Like I said, as we're talking about this game, I kind of want to look at the difference in the roster between the first matchup against the Jags when we started the season, some of the few names that we had, and then the roster that we'll have today. A few notable missing, Mark Ingram, who is somehow still the Texans' leading rusher. He ain't been here since week 7, week 8, which should tell you I don't know what. You got David Johnson, who I don't even think cracked 200 yards yet, which is ridiculous. And I know he's missed a game or two, but this motherfucker's get 200 yards in a fucking game. And we know Tyrod started the season, looked great, got hurt, and they replaced him with a clone because I don't know who the motherfucker is that they brought back out there at quarterback. Who was mentioned earlier, Menahue, and then you're talking about Cunningham, which we all knew, and I guess I don't think that was a shock or a surprise, but you couldn't get nothing for him. You couldn't get nothing for Cunningham. But we're working our way back around the round table. Looking at this game, looking at the roster that's going against the Jags today, and we playing, I think, in Jacksonville. What difference do you see in this matchup as opposed to where we started the season, Ray?
Oh, it's a night and day difference. I mean, it's dysfunction versus dysfunction. I mean, at what point do you I can't even remotely try to even predict a score because it could go extreme one way or extreme the other. I mean, I don't think it's going to be a close, hard-fought battle. I think Jacksonville has the more talented players. It's just whether they're going to be coached up right or not. Not to mention, a lot of teams, and this is probably going to be said by the others here, a lot of teams, after they fire the head coach, kind of come out swinging the next fucking week. That's just how that works. So, in my opinion, they have most of their roster is healthy for the most part. They have a more talented roster. A lot of our roster is depleted. Justin Reed's out. That by itself puts our defense at a severe disadvantage. And not to mention, we're talking about a Texans team that's given up 346 points. They're 30th in the league in total defense. 30th. That's a revealing stat. Jacksonville has a better defense statistically and by the eye test. So I don't know, man. To me, it's a different scenario. I think Trevor Lawrence will probably. You got to think, Trevor Lawrence's first game ever as a pro. He's probably nervous as all hell, man, to be honest with you. So why not just let him settle down and see what he can do this year or do this game and just kind of go from there.
Okay. Yeah, I think Jags only missing Hyde, if I'm not mistaken.
Hyde.
Yeah,
it's like Hyde. Yeah. It's literally just Hyde is out with a concussion, basically.
Okay. Wise man, your thoughts? This is a different roster playing today than what started the season. Who do you think has the advantage?
I think Jacksonville has the advantage. They're at home. Like Ray said, they're going to come out swinging. They're going to be motivated to win, prove Urban Meyer wrong. And then just look at their receivers. Look at their quarterback. He came off a bad game last week. He's going to look to turn it around against the Texans. It always happens in Houston history. A guy that has a terrible game the game before comes against the Texans and has a career game. Whether that's going to be in touchdowns thrown, whether that's going to be yards. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to bounce back this week. The Texans won't be able to stop the passing game. The Texans won't be able to stop the running game. Our offense, we got Davis Mims, the Ten Commanders. Ten Commanders going to do his job and secure another L's today so we can get that number 2 pick in the draft.
Okay. 10-man. Like I said, we're looking a little different than the last time we met the Jags, man. Who do you think has the advantage in this matchup?
The Houston Texans. And I don't care what anybody else says. We're coming in here. We punched them in the mouth in the first game of the year. We got the advantage. We got all the swagger. We got new players. We got, 20 players activated for the practice squad? We got guys trying to put film out there on tape. And whether we like it or not, this is still rivalry. This is our interdivisional rival. We have 3 of them. Why would the Texans not walk in there with some swagger and something on their shoulder? Like, who are the Jags? Who are the Jags? The Jags were poised to have a decent season. You gonna blame Urban Meyer for all of your problems? You're gonna come out here and try to ball out and try to put on a show because you got a pretty little quarterback with long flowing hair. I mean, let's be honest. This Jags team, they're not much better than us. And if anybody should be competing for a premium pick in this year's draft, the Jags should be right up there with them because obviously something's more wrong than just coaching. Obviously, they don't have the right player talent that they need to go out there and start winning in this league, and especially in the AFC conference. I mean, the AFC conference is wide open. Anybody who wants to apply themselves can be good and actually take it into the AFC championship. I don't know what the Jags are doing. You had a top pick quarterback. You got Josh Allen. You've built a team. You're only missing one player. I mean, what's the excuse? What's the excuses for the Jags? How many injuries have they had to deal with this year? What's going on with them? Why are they sitting here at the bottom of the pool with us? They're in the kiddie pool with us. So yeah, we got the advantage. I don't care if they fired their coach. Urban Meyer is probably at home with some of their mamas right now, so I don't even care.
Spitz, Texans, Jags, a lot different than the original matchup. Who do you think has the advantage now?
It's clearly Jacksonville. From a roster standpoint, you just named it. Our leading rusher is playing in New Orleans right now. And he ain't played for the Texans in a month and a half.
Yeah.
Now, this offense is averaging 2 yards per play, not per rush, per play. You're talking about, like I said, Wise just said the tanker method. Davis Mills is quarterback in a quarter's worth of 8 games. He's had 7 starts, and then he played half against Cleveland and half against the Colts. That's the total of 8 games. He's only engineered 15 scoring drives in 8 games. That's less than 2 scoring drives per game. Not touchdown drives, scoring drives, which means 3.
Mm-hmm.
So that means he's engineered a drive and a half per game. That's not good. I know Ray just threw up the stat about the 30th ranked defense. I don't think this Texans defense is the 30th ranked. When you have an offense playing that inept, you're going to be on the field all day. You're not going to be able to produce. If you look at the games going into the halftime, they're either one possession games or tie games going into the half, and the dam just breaks in the second half because the offense is on the defense is on the field the whole time. And I'm going to take you back to 2015, the Miami Dolphins. Fire their head coach. What happens? Houston goes to Miami. We're down 4-2 at halftime. Look back to just last year. When we fired Bill O'Brien, the next game was against Jacksonville. We come out there looking like the best football we played that season so far. So it's when a team fires their head coach, it's like a spark. It's just like like when a team is getting beat in basketball and they add in the 6th man comes in, he starts hitting threes. It likes a little spark plug. That's what happens when you fire your head coach. And I think that it's going to light a fire up underneath Jacksonville, especially since, remember, they were the favorites coming into the season opener. I think they were a 7.5-point favorite on the road. We were at home, and we were a 7-point underdog. When you get and when it comes to odds, you get 3 points for being at home, which means on a neutral site, it would be in a neutral site, it would be a 10-point game, and going into Jacksonville, it would be a 16-point favorite. That's how those numbers work out. That's not good. That's not good. That's a problem. And they lost that game. So I feel like they're going to come into the game all guns blazing and come out to try to prove something against these Texans.
Okay. Wink, man. Like I say, the roster's looking a little bit different than when it started off. Spitz made some good points. They were heavily favored. Things a little bit different now. Who do you think is looking better at this point in the season?
Well, I mean, both of the teams across the board are bad, but I give it the fact that the Jags do have a better quarterback than Davis Mims. Like, the guy sucks. The guy is speaker better, bro. Like, the guy couldn't put up any points in the last few games that he has played. The guy, just watching him trying to get out of the pocket is just one of the cringiest things that I've seen. Like, his awareness is lacking so much that it just leads me to believe that he's only been playing quarterback for at least 3 years. Like, it's no way that he's been playing quarterback past 3 years. It can't be a thing, because if it is, how does somebody that has been doing this at this position for so long gets to the professional level and looks this and that. Like I'm saying, he's Zach Mettenberger, he's Jake Lockerish. He's on that level. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, sometimes he looks like he can throw the ball, but the thing that they don't do for him where he excels, and this is the only area he excels, is in the 2-minute drill. He has to play fast. They're not doing that. So at the end of the day, if they're not going to do the things that benefit him, how do we win this football game? I understand it's the Jags, and I won't be surprised if we beat the Jags. You can hear it here first. I don't think anybody here on this panel is going to be surprised if somehow, some way, we beat the Jags, because let's just be real. We got their numbers. We got it. I don't care what the situation is. We've had quarterbacks. We've had a roster. The 2015 roster, hands down, is the worst offensive roster that we've ever had. Period. I mean, this roster is pretty bad, but like, it could very well rival them. And the only reason why I could probably put this roster above that roster is because not only in 2015 did we not have Arian Foster, we had Alfred Bruce, who looked horrible. He only had like 500 yards on the season. You've already gotten rid of two of the starting running backs that you had throughout the season. You're getting rid of defensive starters throughout the season. And Urban Meyer just got let go, and his team is relatively healthy going into this football game. And we're not even going to have our top safety to be able to cover against the deep routes. DJ Chark should be able to eat. All of these other guys that they have, and like I don't see them. Their run game is not really all that, so who knows? But I won't be surprised if their run game is able to get downs that they need to keep the drive going, or they're in a position to finally score. I have the Jags really taking this win, bro. I mean, not just decisively. I don't think it's just going to be a decisive win for the Jags. It should be a decisive win for the Jags. Because if the Jags let the Texans win this game with Davis Mills, then it says far more about the Jags than it says about the Texans.
I mean, are we in a situation where you kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't? Because like as we mentioned in the chat, when Tyrod came back, Tyrod was looking ass too. Like I said, he didn't look remotely close to the guy that started the season, who was probably one of the more efficient quarterbacks in the league. He was making plays. He looked like it was a rejuvenation of his career after everything that happened last year. And then, the injury, and I know some people say he still had a lingering injury that, they were just trying to put him back out there. At this point now, I know it's Davis Mills season. But here's a question. Would you say, and let me just throw this out there so no specific order, do you feel at this point that Davis Mills is playing better now than he did when he initially touched the field? Was it against the Browns?
Can't judge it, man, because he had an opening drive last week. Like the opening drive, I'm not gonna hold you. The opening drive looked good, but then after that, it was the same old missing guys and not able to score and put up points when your team needs you. Oh, but then when you're down 31-13 with 2 minutes left in the game, you mysteriously able to move downfield again. Like a lot of his numbers, and that's something I didn't mention. A lot of his numbers in those games were kind of garbage time stats. Yeah. Look at the game against the Rams. Like his only real good game, I'll have to concede, is the Patriots game when he threw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, no turnovers. That was his only real good game. That was for real. If you look at the Rams game, they were down 38-0, and he scores 3 touchdowns in the last 5 minutes of the game after they put their backups in. Yeah. Like so, it's like, I mean, we've all played high school football. We know how that goes when you put your backups in and then the other team may mysteriously get a touchdown or two and they feel good about themselves going home. Like, that's kind of that type of same situation. So I really can't judge it because I really didn't. It still didn't. Either way it goes, it wasn't impressive. He had a good opening drive, but he has nothing to build upon after that. And I kind of agree with you about Tyrod. Kind of it's like he a Gucci Man clone or something. Like, it's not the same guy that played the first quarter. Yeah. I mean, they played the first game. It's not the same guy. Yeah. It's like, I don't know if they replaced him with Gucci Man, but they did. Because because Tyrod, his whole career, has never turned the ball over. Yeah. His first game back, he throws 3 interceptions. Next game, he throws 2. Like, come on, that's not Tyrod.
Really? Is this what we're gonna do? Are we gonna bag Tyrod's Taylor's? Really? Week one, we was playing the Jacksonville Jaguars. Wise told y'all specifically, it don't matter. Tyrod Taylor's Not gonna be the starter long term. Davis Mims is badass. Davis Mims is the real Ten Commanders. Tyrod Taylor's on the Texans. Any player that comes to the Texans, they lose -5 attributes. It don't matter. They lose -5 automatically. The man looked terrible. The man looked horrid. Against the Miami Dolphins he played, his hamstring was still hurt. They tried to rush him back. I mean, the guy is terrible. Let's not sit here and act like Tyrod Taylor was ever a good quarterback in his career. When he was in Baltimore, he had the chance to start over Joe Flacco. He fumbled the bag. When he was in Buffalo, he could have been a long-term starter. But guess what? He fumbled the bag. He got to motherfucking Cleveland, and then it was Baker Mayfield's. He fumbled the bags. He got to LA to the Chargers and broke a ribs. He fumbled the bags. Well, the doctor fumbled the bags, but still. And then he got to Lexans, and what happened again? He got a hamstring. It happens all over and over again. It's a cycle with him, bruh.
Man, have you seen Justin Herbert? He can't start with Justin Herbert. Stop that, man.
Man, I'm gonna tell y'all like this. Look, Davis Mills knows what he is. He knows he's hot garbage. He knows he's hot butter garbage. He knows that. I don't think anybody needs to tell Davis Mills he sucks at being quarterback in the NFL. But that's the good thing, though. He understands who he is. He's poised to win today. Tell me how sorry Jags quarterback, was it Fabio? He over here only has 2,700 yards.
Damn,
Fabio.
We're gonna do with the long hair.
Yeah, I'm confused. I thought it was Sunshine. Now I'm like, which one is it?
Fabio is over here. Fabio
It
is
was
over here
Sunshine.
with
Now we
2,700 yards.
Bobby
He's
Sunshine.
only here with 2,700 yards. Trevor
He
Lawrence,
flipped his hair.
2,700 yards. My boy Davis Mills got 1,700 yards, and he didn't even start the whole season. I mean, come on, man. Davis Mills knows he sucks.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence doesn't know he sucks. And that's the difference maker right there. Trevor Lawrence actually thinks he has a shot at winning this game today. Davis Mills knows he's got to go out there and get a win today. That's the advantage. Like, y'all can laugh at me. Laugh me off the stage. Boo this man. And I will walk off this stage. But I will
Boo
come back
this
hold
man.
that W.
Get him off
Do
the
y'all
stage.
think that Trevor? Do y'all think
He
that
better
Trevor
feel that way.
Lawrence?
He's the first round pick.
Do y'all think that Trevor Lawrence flips his hair before the game like old girl did in Shawshank Redemption?
Oh, you know what?
He do be doing that though. He do.
He looks like that dude that was part of the sisters that kept getting at Andy.
Oh,
No.
that's terrible.
You know what he is?
Not
He's
bald.
got a special.
Yes.
Hogs, bro.
He's got a specially made brush like. He's got a special made brush like he like in Blades of Glory with Chaz, like it's made from like oak bone of an elephant, and it's.
Now I'm gonna open a fly, and I'm gonna.
You know,
he feels like he's Thor.
Oh.
He feels like he's Thor. He feels like he's Thor. He just shakes his hair.
Before the haircut.
So I got a question.
Trevor Lawrence looks like one of the stepsisters from Cinderella. That's all I'm saying.
So is even though Trevor Lawrence first round pick, higher expectations, things like that, is Davis Mills more desperate? He's yet to get the win. Like you said, he's played the equivalent of 8 games. This is going to be his 8th start, and has no victory under the belt. Like you said, only one real quality game that you could say was somewhat consistent throughout. Is he more desperate than Trevor Lawrence to get the victory?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. For one, the risk isn't on him. The risk is on the front office. If anybody if anybody in the Houston Texans is desperate, it has to be the front office and Cal McNair. And those guys, the guys actually running the organization. The players, they have no choice because at the end of the day, they're getting rid of all the guys that they don't want, and they're keeping all of the guys to ensure that they have a high risk investment going into the draft. Davis Mills, hands down, is going to get them their investment. Now, will they hit on their investment when it's time for them to go into the draft? I doubt it. It looks right now because we'll be doing some mock drafts pretty soon. But the pressure is totally on Trevor Lawrence because if he can't beat Mims,
exactly.
Bro, I can't. Look, if you can't beat this dude and this dude is a bum in his first game, like for you to get swept by the Texans and you're the #1 overall pick and they said that you were better than Deshaun Watson, out Mahomes and all these guys who are currently in the
Right.
NFL
Right.
change minds of NFL fandom. I don't understand how he can be in the equation and you somehow can't even. You got Mims troubles. Like
See,
That's
I
not-
see the based off of what I said earlier about the grade situation. That's why the pressure is completely 100% on a person like a Trevor Lawrence. If you're the third highest grade player coming out of a draft period, you're supposed to win these type of games. I don't care if you're a rookie or not. Then you piggyback on they number one safety out with a concussion. They second best defensive player you cut. Your other defensive player is out with COVID. Like this team is deployed the talent and got injuries on top of that. You're supposed to eat and feast. And then with Davis Mills, I said that's the reason why I don't really harp on Davis Mills the way a lot of people do, because I understand the situation. He was put here in place just like David Culley, a placeholder. He's here for us to point the blame in. Oh, David Culley, you suck. Oh, Davis Mills, you suck. To get us away from the real people who suck in the organization, Cal and Jack. They all to make you forget about Cal and Jack, so you put all your blame on them. So Davis
Don't
Mills is
forget
not
about Nick.
supposed to win. Nick as well, but Davis Mills is not supposed to win this game, so he has no pressure. He has the least pressure out of anybody walking in the NFL today.
he'll
He
start
has no pressure at all.
Yeah, he's the starter
Yeah, but
for the season for a reason.
But you know what? The Jags don't have any film on any of our guys. Like, they would have to go find our guys, homeboys, who put out YouTube highlights for these guys to even see any film on the players we got hitting the field today. And
All
we
I know-
already know. Oh, I'm sorry.
My bad. I'm so keep going.
That's
I'm
not
sorry.
a good thing for the Texans. I wouldn't say that that's a strong case
It's the
for
element of surprise.
win, because at the end of the day they have more cohesion. That means there's far less cohesion, it's far less practice time, it's far less like things that you can do because the team is so limited because they have no idea what you can do on game day. Now, I'm not saying that the Texans can't surprise everybody, but all it is just a trash beating trash. Like, it's, don't get me wrong, I'm gonna celebrate. I'm gonna pull out the glove. You know what I'm saying?
It don't matter.
It don't matter. Thank
It
you.
don't
It
matter.
Don't matter.
It's the it don't
don't
matters
matter.
bowl right now.
Exactly.
It don't matter.
It don't
It just
matter.
don't.
All I'm gonna say is this: and Tinny, if what you're saying is true about them not having no tape and them coming out with element of surprise, doesn't that mean that any success that they sustain would be very fugazi?
Yes, absolutely.
It wouldn't be real. It wouldn't be real. It's only because you have the element of surprise.
If we lose to
Look.
the Jags, somebody getting fired in 4 weeks.
Man,
Look,
somebody
we
get
can
fired
stumble
today
into the end zone
to a P.
5 times today, and I will be happy.
All right, but real quick, let's get it because it's getting about that time. So,
Oh, yeah.
you know, we do a little thing around here called Mark My Motherfucking Words. If you in the chat, wherever you at, hashtag MMMFW, Mark My Motherfucking Words means a bold prediction. I mean, going out on a limb. And that's a difficult thing to do when you talk about the two teams that we're speaking of today. So I'm going to give y'all some leeway on some of them basic-ass predictions. But y'all drop that in the chat. Make sure you put the hashtag in front of it if you want to get that read. We'll try to do that. But we'll go around the round table, man. Start with Ray. Bold prediction. Mark my motherfucking words on this game. What you got?
Next question. I'm just here for a Skittles, boss.
Damn.
There's 40 to 10 Jacksonville.
No, good grief.
There.
Good grief. Green wise man. What you got, man? Mark my motherfucking words. And yeah, go ahead and throw the score prediction in there too.
Okay. Yeah. Mark my motherfucking words. Trevor Lawrence is gonna break the rookie passing yards in a single game today. Which is 453 yards. I think he will go for 454 yards and have around 3 touchdowns this game. So that's my mark my motherfucking words. And my score prediction is Jacksonville 31, Texans 14.
31-14. All right. 10 man. Put a little toxicity in it. What you got? Mark my motherfucking words for the game today.
I told y'all Houston fans I was bringing you the win today, and I'm bringing it strong today. The Houston Texans will have their first 100-yard rusher since the last time they've had a 100-yard rusher in the game. Today, it will be one man that will get 100 yards. I don't care who it is, but it's going to be one man rushing for 100 yards. And I tell you right now, Davis Mills will throw for three touchdowns. 3 touchdowns, and we will win 30-13.
Okay. 30-13. All right.
Oh, expect Kaimi to go off 3 field goals too.
Oh shit. Oh shit. Kaimi. Shout out to Hector. All right. Wink. What you got, man?
No, it's on Spitz.
No. Whatever.
It's on Spitz, didn't
Well, Spitz, what you got?
Okay, I know I've been talking a whole bunch of cash shit,
Yeah.
and I know that I've been calling people hot butter garbage.
Yes.
But I kind of agree with Wise. Trevor Lawrence, mark my motherfucking words, Trevor Lawrence throws for over 400 yards, 5 touchdowns, win 5-10. And Davis Mills has 2 pick sixes. I mean, those 2 picks.
Oh, it could have cut out for me a little bit. What you said after the 400 yards?
Yeah, he has 400 yards, 5 touchdowns. The Jags win 35-10. Davis Mills throws 2 picks.
All right,
Yeah.
indeed, with 2 picks. Wink, what you got? Mark my motherfucking words.
Mark my motherfucking words that the Jags put up 42 points. He's going to throw 5 touchdowns. He might run one in. So I'm giving Trevor Lawrence 6 total touchdowns. It's going to be 42-13 Jags. 42-13 because they've been losing 18 points or more over the last 8-9 weeks. So they're gonna keep that trend going. I don't really see it really changing. But Kaimi Fairbairn will miss. He will be in field goal range 6 times, and he will miss 4 field goals, and he will miss 2 PATs. That's why we're gonna have 13. That's why we're gonna have the 13.
We should write that game script down that Wink just gave. That was a paragraph, bro.
Yeah.
That's a lot of motherfucking words, man.
Right.
Yeah.
I got the notes. All right.
Oh no, Honcho keeps the note.
Yeah, I think.
Bring us corn chips.
Yeah, I think that these are 2 extremely terrible fucking teams that are playing one another. I think it's gonna be a fucking field goal fest. Ain't nobody getting in the motherfucking end zone. It's gonna be the worst game that you've seen probably in the last 3 years. I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna do something I don't think I've ever done. I'm gonna call this game a fucking tie. 12-12. All field goals.
That's
Both these
that's
teams-
bold.
Both of these
That's a
teams
good one.
Yeah.
are ass, bro. Like that's all I see. That's all I got. It's so bad I can't lean one direction or the other. I agree with what some said about if Urban Meyer is your boost, well, you got a whole lot of other problems. I'm not looking forward to this at all. But we're gonna watch it. Like I said, it's about that time. Most of y'all,
Wow,
like I said,
first time Texas history.
yeah, I'm going out on a limb. This is the day we do it, and then we fire Cully after the fucking game, just cause. But if you in the Discord,
We ain't that lucky.
make sure y'all slide in that bitch. Discord.com/sauce. No, Patreon.com.
Join the Discord.
Yeah,
join the
Discord.
Discord.
Yeah, Patreon.com/saucesports. You want to be a part of that. Usually, bet helps if you do it a little bit early, not right when we get in the stream because we get lost in that. But if you in the Discord, y'all already know meet us there. Beat us there, don't meet us there. Y'all know it goes down. That's the only entertaining thing that's gonna happen today. If you're not, well, we'll catch y'all after the game in the post-game show. But with that being said, appreciate all y'all who came through. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you share. And if you ain't subscribed, make sure you subscribe, man, because it's well worth it. But with that being said, it's time to cha-cha slide about this thing until after the game. We out. Y'all stay saucy. We go.